The Rise of Yoweri Museveni, a story of struggle, triumph, and leadership. Yoweri Museveni's journey to the presidency of Uganda began in the rolling hills of Entungamo in southwestern Uganda. Born in 1944 to a cattle-herding family, Museveni grew up in a country undergoing profound changes. Uganda was still a British colony, but independence was on the horizon. Museveni, a young boy with bright eyes and a sharp mind, absorbed the political discussions around him. His passion for justice and leadership was apparent even then. Scene 1. The Young Rebel. As a young man, Museveni was deeply influenced by Pan-Africanism and the fight for freedom across the continent. He attended the University of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, a hotbed of radical ideas, where he studied political science and economics. His mind filled with the teachings of revolutionary leaders like Julius Nyerere and Frantz Fanon, Museveni began to dream of a free, prosperous Uganda. But the reality of his country was far from that dream. In the early 1970s, Uganda fell under the brutal dictatorship of Idi Amin. The regime was marked by terror, mass killings, and the collapse of the economy. Museveni, now in his late 20s, could not stand by and watch his country be destroyed. He formed a rebel group, the Front for National Salvation, FRNASA, and began plotting the overthrow of Amin. Museveni and his comrades operated from the bush, moving stealthily across borders, gathering weapons and recruiting fighters. In 1979, after years of guerrilla warfare and the intervention of Tanzanian forces, Idi Amin was finally overthrown. Uganda was free from one of Africa's most notorious dictators, but the country was far from stable. A series of short-lived governments followed, each trying and failing to stabilize the country. Museveni, though still young, had gained a reputation as a serious leader. He formed the Uganda Patriotic Movement and ran for president in the 1980 elections. But the elections were widely believed to have been rigged in favor of Milton Obote, who returned to power. Museveni refused to accept the fraudulent results. He retreated to the bush once again, this time with a new group, the National Resistance Army, NRA. His goal was to overthrow Obote and bring about real change in Uganda. For 5 grueling years, Museveni and his forces fought a bloody guerrilla war against the government. It was a time of great suffering for the people of Uganda, but Museveni remained determined. His resolve only grew stronger with each battle. In 1986, after years of conflict, Museveni's NRA successfully captured Kampala, Uganda's capital. Museveni declared victory, and his National Resistance Movement, NRM, took control of the government. It was a triumphant moment. Uganda was finally free of dictators, and the people looked to Museveni to rebuild the shattered nation. He was sworn in as president with a promise to restore peace, justice, and democracy to Uganda. Museveni immediately set to work on transforming Uganda. He implemented a range of economic reforms, focusing on privatization, liberalization, and foreign investment. His policies were credited with stabilizing the economy and boosting growth, particularly in agriculture and infrastructure. He also focused on rebuilding the country's social fabric, launching programs in education and healthcare that improved the lives of millions. The country, which had once been the Pearl of Africa, was slowly regaining its luster. In the years that followed, Museveni worked tirelessly to restore Uganda's international reputation and ensure stability. He focused on attracting foreign investment, which helped to boost infrastructure development and agriculture. His government also made great strides in the fight against HIV/AIDS, reducing the prevalence of the disease through successful public health campaigns. Museveni encouraged political stability and economic growth, and Uganda became one of Africa's rising stars. By the 2000s, Museveni had become one of Africa's longest-serving leaders. He had brought stability to Uganda, improved its economy, and played a key role in regional peace efforts. However, his long tenure in power also sparked concerns about democratic backsliding. Museveni insisted that he remained in office because the people still needed him, citing the progress made during his presidency as proof of his leadership. Despite the controversies, Museveni continued to play a Sai,